27b. Length of time for daily practice. It may be helpful to know about how much time the artists devote to daily study, especially to technical practice. It is understood all great singers work on vocalizers and technical material daily. Caruso is a constant worker. 2 or 3 hours in the forenoon, and several more later in the day whenever possible. Farrar devotes between 1 and 2 hours daily to vocalizes, scales, and tone study. Lehmann counsels 1 hour daily on technique. Golly Kersey gives a half hour or so to vocalizes and scales every morning. Martinelli practices exercises and vocalizes 1 hour each morning, then another hour on repertoire. In the afternoon, an hour more, 3 hours daily. Easton says, "It seems to me a young singer should not practice more than an hour a day at most, beginning with 2 periods of 15 or 20 minutes each." Anna Kay says, "I never practice when I am tired, for then it does more harm than good. One must be in good condition to make good tones. I can study and not sing at all, for the work is all mental anyway." Musio states she gives practically her whole day to study, dividing it into short periods with rest between. Frida Hempel says, "I do about 2 hours or more, though not all of this for technique. I approve of a good deal of technical study, taken in small doses of 10 to 15 minutes at a time. Technique is a means to an end, more in the art of song than in almost any other form of art. Technique is the background of expressive singing." Sophie Broslau is an incessant worker, at least 6 hours a day. "Of these I actually sing 3 hours. The first hour to memory work on repertoire. The second hour to vocalizes. The rest of the time is given to repertoire and the things that belong to it." Barrientos states she gives about 3/4 of an hour to vocal technique, scales, and exercises each day. Duval advises the young student to practice 2 half-hours daily, 2 hours after eating, and rest the voice 1 day each week, during which she studies other subjects connected with her art. Oscar Senger says, "One should practice in 15-minute periods and rest at least 10 minutes between. Sing only 2 hours a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in afternoon." What vowels to use? There seems a divergence of opinion as to what vowels are most beneficial in technical practice and study. Golly Kersey says, "In my own study I use them all, though some are more valuable than others. The ah is the most difficult of all. The o is good, e needs great care. I have found the best way is to use mixed vowels, one melting into the other. The tone can be started with each vowel in turn, then mingled with the rest of the vowels. Madame d'Alvarez often starts the tone with ah, which melts into o and later changes to u, as the tone dies away. Bifam has the student use various vowel syllables as la, ma, me, and me. With Oscar Senger, the pupil in early stages at least, uses ah for vocalizes. Duval requires students to use the vowel ah for exercises and scales, finding the others are not needed, especially excluding e and u as injurious. Griffith uses each vowel in turn, preceded by all the consonants of the alphabet, one after another. Half or full voice. Shall the young singer practice with half or full voice seems a matter depending on one's individual attainments. De Luca uses full power during practice, while Risa sings softly or with medium tone during study hours, except occasionally when she wishes to try out certain effects. Martinelli states he always practices with full voice, as with half voice he would not derive the needed benefit. Madame Easton admits she does not, as a rule, use full voice when at work, but adds, this admission might prove injurious to the young singer, for half voice might result in faulty tone production. Anna Kay says when at work on a song in her music room, she sings it with the same power as she would before an audience. She has not 2 ways of doing it, one for a small room and another for a large one. Mr. Duval advises the young pupil to sing tones as loudly and deeply as possible. Singing pianissimo is another fallacy for a young voice. This is one of the most difficult accomplishments and should be reserved for a later period. Oscar Senger. The tone should be free, round and full, but not loud. Hearing yourself. Does the singer really hear himself is a question which has been put to nearly every artist. Many answered in a comparative negative, though with qualifications. Miss Farrar said, "No, I do not actually hear my voice, except in a general way, but we learn to know the sensations produced in throat, head, face, lips, and other parts of the anatomy, which vibrate in a certain manner to correct tone production. We learn the feeling of the tone. I can tell just how I am singing a tone or phrase," says De Luca, "by the feeling and sensation, for of course I cannot hear the full effect. No singer can really hear the effect of his work, except on the records. The singer must judge so much from sensation, for she cannot very well hear herself. That is, she cannot tell the full effect of what she is doing," says Anna Case. Mr. Witherspoon says, "The singer of course hears himself and with study learns to hear himself better. The singer should depend more on hearing the sound he makes than on feeling the sound. In other words, train the ear, the chord of ultimate resort, and the only judge, and forget sensation as much as possible, for the latter leads to a million confusions." Vocal mastery from the artist's viewpoint. Farrar. A thing that is mastered must be really perfect. To master vocal art, the singer must have so developed his voice that it is under complete control, then he can do with it what he wishes. He must be able to produce all he desires of power, pianissimo, accent, shading, delicacy, and variety of color. Golly Kersey. To sum up, the three requirements of vocal mastery are management of the larynx, relaxation of the diaphragm, control of the breath. To these might be added a fourth, mixed vowels. But when these are mastered, what then? So much more it can never be put into words. It is self-expression through the medium of tone, for tone must always be a vital part of the singer's individuality, colored by feeling and emotion. To perfect one's own instrument must always be the singer's joy and satisfaction. Reisa. If I have developed perfect control throughout the 2.5 octaves of my voice, can make each tone with pure quality and perfect evenness in the different degrees of loud and soft, and if I have perfect breath control as well, I then have an equipment that may serve all purposes of interpretation. For together with vocal mastery must go the art of interpretation, in which all the mastery of the vocal equipment may find expression. In order to interpret adequately, one ought to possess a perfect instrument, perfectly trained. When this is the case, one can forget mechanism, because confident of the ability to express any desired emotion. Homer. The singer must master all difficulties of technique, of tone production in order to be able to express the thought of the composer and the meaning of the music. Warenrath. I can answer the question in one word: disregard. For if you have complete control of your anatomy and such command of your vocal resources that they will always do their work, that they can be depended on to act perfectly, then you can disregard mechanism and think only of the interpretation, only of your vocal message. Then you have conquered the material and have attained vocal mastery. Kingston. Vocal mastery includes so many things. First and foremost, vocal technique. One must have an excellent technique before one can hope to sing even moderately well. Technique furnishes the tool with which the singer creates his vocal artwork. Then the singer must work on his moral nature so that he shall express the beautiful and pure in music. Until I have thus prepared myself, I am not doing my whole duty to myself, my art, or to my neighbor. Griffith. Vocal mastery is acquired through correct understanding of what constitutes pure vowel sounds, and such control of the breath as will enable one to convert every atom of breath into singing tone. This establishes correct action of the vocal cords and puts the singer in possession of the various tints of the voice. When the vocal cords are allowed to produce pure vowels, correct action is the result, and with proper breath support, vocal mastery can be assured. Duval, what is vocal mastery? Every great artist has his own peculiar manner of accomplishing results, has his own vocal mastery. Patti had one kind, Maurel another, Lehmann still another. Caruso may also be said to have his own vocal mastery. In fine, as every great artist is different from his compeers, there can be no fixed and fast standard of vocal mastery, except the mastery of doing a great thing greatly and convincingly. This audio is part of the Jean Bechtel School for Music Artistic Coaching and Diploma Programs. To learn more, please visit www.bechtelschool.com.